Sumo's Yokozuna Council, at its latest post-tournament meeting, has pronounced on the two Yokozuna, and Japanese fans are not impressed. Taking both top rankers together, Council Chairman of the past 6 months, Tadamori Oshima, said, "Amid popular expectations of a Taiho era capable of widening Sumo's general appeal, it's a real shame that neither Yokozuna managed to deliver." On each grand champion in turn, Oshima had this to add: Onosato showed flashes of his overwhelming power, but his so-called bad habit of pulling stood out from around halfway through. This tournament has doubtless served as a useful exercise in mental preparedness, which we hope he will use well going forward. Regarding Hoshoryu, it is a source of deep regret that he was injured again. We hope he can now train hard to project a Yokozuna aura, which embodies the core sumo elements of spirit, technique and physique, and deliver befitting results in September. Oshima then urged both men to create better Yokozuna environments for themselves, basically saying, while fans are extremely important, it's also necessary for the Yokozuna to create his own space in which to prepare to excel. Many such fans protested on X though, saying, for example, "I find it unbelievable that the Yokozuna Council takes no responsibility for this, especially having promoted both men on next to no discussion. And you have no right to criticize the hole you dug for yourselves." The Sumo Association has also come in for blame, as in old-style Japanese fashion, the Yokozuna Council reads their preferences before making its own decisions. What is lacking, though, is any serious discussion of the Yokozuna criteria themselves. Are 2 tournaments really enough to assess someone for this revered rank? I think many of us can sympathize with the YDC's position. It was presented with 2 fine fighters, still more akin to decent Ozeki than Yokozuna, who just happened to meet the promotion requirements. No need to panic yet, of course. This former Yokozuna has also released thoughts on his current successors, the elder of whom was born a day before he clinched that historic promotion. "I think Hoshoryu will struggle unless he acquires further raw power, as his moves don't look great right now," Master Musashigawa began. "I was concerned to see him beaten for speed, and his tendency to receive the charge even though he's not the biggest. If he overly fattens up, though, his style will fall apart, so I want him to work on his charge and up his speed for relentless attacks." As for Onosato, Musashigawa added, his sumo changed after that Oho loss, and he came to fail to score hits in the initial charge. He pulls so often as he's shying away from the basic battle of guts. Keep losing that, and retirement nears. He has the physique, he has the power, and so should hit hard and keep driving forward. And I think most of us would agree that in his final 2 bouts this time, with the pressure off and total commitment to attack, Onosato looked unstoppable again. On Kotosakura, both the Yokozuna Council chairman and the ex-Musashimaru feel he can draw inspiration from colleague Kotoshoho's feat, achieved with, quote, "dignity and self-possession." However, Shoho himself is keen to stress that he's not always so self-possessed. "I do get more animated when tipsy," he confessed. "Then I become less inhibited and talk and laugh much more." Shoho also admitted downing 8 large lemon seltzers while dining with patrons on day 14. "I had trouble sleeping before the Onosato bout," he explained, "so I wanted to make sure I got a good night's kip before the final match." That he apparently did. Various sumo experts were asked why the July tournament produces more Maegashira ranked winners than any other these days. 5 in the past 35. Master Nishikido, one of those 5, said, "It has to be the heat, which places everyone's body under extra demands. Many wrestlers overwork themselves in this heat, and the constant use of coolers messes with their rhythms too." The ex-Takakeisho, meanwhile, replied, "In addition to the conditions, there's the fact we have no tour beforehand, meaning everyone's preparation is different to the usual. Based on my experience anyway." He suggested the top fighters have less chance to train with and suss out expected foes. But this also applies to March tournaments, which have produced far fewer low-ranking champs. What most observers agree upon is that top rankers in general have never had things so tough. The past decade has seen the standard of student sumo immeasurably improve, with its stars boosted by modern sports science and top-class training facilities, oven-ready to mix it with pro sumo's best like never before. Konosuke Kizaki, uncle of Churanomi and head coach of amateur powerhouse Nihon University, says, "I'm not surprised, for example, at how well my ex-student Kusano is doing. He's looked at Kim Bozan and Takeru Fuji, with whom he held his own in our practice ring, and said, 'I can do what they do.' The overall student sumo level is now so high that several guys seem capable of beating Takeru Fuji's speed records once they turn pro." The Sponichi journalist writing this up notes that 20 from 42 top-flight men competing in July went through the uni sumo system. He closes his piece with this remark: "It's almost as if the student sumo events of today are nigh perfectly mapping out the professional rankings charts of tomorrow."